What is the safest action when being passed? Maintain lane and speed. Maintaining your lane and speed is the safest course of action. This allows the passing driver to predict your movements and complete the pass safely. Changing speed or position can create confusion and increase the risk of a collision. Why not the others? Move to right shoulder. Moving to the shoulder can be dangerous as it may be uneven, have debris, or not provide enough space. Signal to acknowledge. Signaling is not a standard practice when being passed and could be misinterpreted by the passing driver. When merging onto a highway, which factor best ensures safety? Be near traffic speed, merge safely. Merging safely involves matching the speed of highway traffic and smoothly integrating into the flow. This minimizes disruptions and reduces the risk of accidents. Why not the others? Stop and wait for opening. Stopping on a merged lane can cause rear-end collisions and disrupt traffic flow. Merge at a slow speed. Merging at a slow speed can disrupt the flow of traffic and increase the risk of being rear-ended. How many seconds of space should you leave between you and the vehicle in front of you when merging? 3 seconds. Maintaining a 3-second following distance provides adequate time to react and avoid a collision when merging. This buffer allows you to safely adjust to changes in traffic flow and the behavior of other drivers. Why not the others? 5 seconds. While a 5-second following distance is very safe, it's often impractical in merging situations. Other drivers may fill the extra space, disrupting the flow of traffic. 2 seconds. A 2-second following distance may be adequate under ideal conditions. However, it's insufficient for merging, where conditions can change rapidly. What should you do 100 feet before making a right turn? Start signaling. Signaling your intention to turn 100 feet before the turn allows other drivers and pedestrians to anticipate your move, promoting safety and preventing potential accidents. This is a standard safety practice for drivers. Why not the others? Speed up. Speeding up before a turn is dangerous and could lead to loss of control. Check the rearview mirror. While checking the rearview mirror is important for general awareness, it's not the primary action to take 100 feet before a turn. When parallel parking, what is the most important initial step? Find a space 3 feet longer. Finding a space about 3 feet longer than your car is crucial for having enough room to maneuver into the parking spot. This extra space allows you to enter and exit the space smoothly without hitting the cars in front or behind. Why not the others? Pull directly in front of the space. This is a step that comes later in the parallel parking process, not the initial one. Position the vehicle 6 feet from the car. Being 6 feet away is generally too far. You need to be closer to the car you're parking behind for better control. This warning sign means This warning sign indicates slippery when wet. It shows a car with wavy skid marks, warning drivers that the road may be slippery in wet or icy conditions. Drivers should reduce speed and drive carefully. What does a white painted curb indicate for parking? Drop off or pick up passengers. A white curb indicates an area designated for brief stops only, such as picking up or dropping off passengers. This is to facilitate quick passenger exchange without prolonged parking. Why not the others? Parking for disabled persons. This is typically indicated by blue paint. Parking for a limited time. This is commonly indicated by green paint. When parking uphill with a curb, which action best prevents rolling? Wheels away from curb, roll back. When parking uphill with a curb, turning your wheels away from the curb allows the car to roll back slightly until the back tire gently rests against the curb, preventing further rolling. Why not the others? Wheels toward curb, roll forward. This is incorrect because if the brakes fail, the vehicle will roll into traffic. Wheels straight, engage parking brake. This is incorrect because while the parking brake is important, it's not the primary method to prevent rolling when parking uphill with a curb. When an emergency vehicle has its sirens on, how far should you stay behind it? 300 feet. Staying 300 feet behind an emergency vehicle with sirens activated ensures you're a safe distance away. This allows the emergency vehicle to operate without impedance and gives you ample time to react to its movements. Why not the others? 100 feet. This is too close and doesn't provide enough reaction time or space for the emergency vehicle to maneuver. 200 feet. While better than 100 feet, it still may not be enough distance to ensure safety and prevent interference. What is the most appropriate action when red lights flash at railroad tracks? Stop and wait. When red lights are flashing at a railroad crossing, you must stop before the crossing. You should wait until the lights stop flashing and the gate, if present, rises before proceeding. This ensures that you do not cross the tracks while a train is approaching. Why not the others? Slow down and proceed. You must always stop when the red lights are flashing. Slowing down is not sufficient. Stop on the tracks. Stopping on the tracks is extremely dangerous and should never be done. What should drivers do when approaching a stationary emergency vehicle with flashing lights? Move over and slow down. When approaching a stationary emergency vehicle with flashing lights, drivers should move over to create a safety buffer and also reduce their speed to avoid potential accidents. This helps protect the emergency responders and other individuals at the scene. Why not the others? Maintain speed and lane position. This is dangerous as it doesn't provide a safety margin for emergency personnel working near the road. Speed up and move to the left. Speeding up increases the risk of an accident. The below sign means slow-moving vehicle. This sign warns that the vehicle is a slow-moving vehicle. What is the speed limit within 500 feet of a school when children are outside? 25 miles per hour. The speed limit within 500 feet of a school is 25 miles per hour when children are outside or crossing the street. This is to ensure the safety of the children. Why not the others? 15 miles per hour. This speed is too slow for the specified condition. 20 miles per hour. While safer than higher speeds, it's not the legally defined limit. When is it legal to drive off the road to pass another vehicle? It is not legal under any conditions. It is not legal under any conditions to drive off the road to pass another vehicle in California. You must stay on the paved roadway when passing, as shoulders and off-road areas are only for emergencies, not for regular driving. What is the most severe penalty for evading law enforcement? 10 years in state prison. The most severe penalty for evading law enforcement, resulting in serious bodily injury or death to another person, can be up to 10 years in state prison. This reflects the gravity of the offense when it leads to significant harm. Why not the others? 1 year in county jail. This penalty is typically for misdemeanor evading, not felonies involving serious injury or death. 7 years in state prison. While a substantial penalty, it is less than the maximum of 10 years for severe cases involving great bodily injury or death. If an unlicensed person drives your vehicle, what may occur? Vehicle may be impounded for 30 days. If an unlicensed person is caught driving your vehicle, the vehicle may be impounded for 30 days. This is to deter owners from allowing unlicensed individuals to operate vehicles, ensuring road safety and compliance with licensing laws. Why not the others? Owner's license is suspended. While the owner might face penalties, a license suspension isn't the automatic first step. Vehicle is immediately forfeited. Forfeiture is too extreme for a first-time offense. Impoundment is more typical. This solid yellow light represents prepare to stop. A solid yellow light means the signal is about to turn red. Drivers should slow down and prepare to stop safely. At what point during a rainfall are roads slippery on a hot day? For the first several minutes. On a hot day, when rain first begins, the water mixes with oil and dirt on the road surface, making it very slippery. After a few minutes of rain, this layer washes away and the road becomes less slick. What does a wrong way sign indicate? Going against traffic. A wrong way sign indicates that you are going against the normal flow of traffic and could cause a collision. It is often paired with a do not enter sign. Why not the others? There is a one-way street. This sign simply informs you that the street you are on is one way. Sharp turn ahead. This warns you of a curve in the road, not about traffic direction. Missed an exit in a roundabout. What should you do? Continue around until next chance. The correct action is to continue around the roundabout until you reach your desired exit. This maintains the flow of traffic and avoids dangerous maneuvers. Think of it like missing a street on a block. You would go around the block again. Why not the others? Stop and back up. This is extremely dangerous. Stopping and backing up in a roundabout can cause collisions with other vehicles. Make a U-turn. U-turns are typically prohibited in roundabouts due to the continuous flow of traffic. Attempting a U-turn disrupts this flow and creates a high risk of accidents. What is the minimum safe distance from the airbag cover? At least 10 inches. To avoid injury from a deploying airbag, it is recommended to sit at least 10 inches away from the airbag cover. This distance allows the airbag to deploy fully without posing a significant risk of impact-related injuries. Why not the others? At least 5 inches. This distance is insufficient to prevent potential injuries from an airbag's rapid deployment. Less than 10 inches. Sitting closer than 10 inches increases the risk of injury from the force of the airbag. When is it permissible to leave a child unattended in a vehicle? When a 12-year-old or older supervises the child. A child can be left unattended in a vehicle if they are being supervised by someone who is 12 years old or older. This ensures a level of responsibility and maturity to handle potential issues. Why not the others? Never permissible. This is incorrect. There are specific circumstances, such as supervision by someone 12 or older, where leaving a child unattended is allowed. When the child is 6 or older. This is incorrect. The child's age does not determine when they can be left unattended in a vehicle. Supervision is key. In which lane should you end your turn when making a right turn? The lane closest to the right edge of the road. When making a right turn, you must turn into the lane nearest to the curb or right edge of the roadway. This keeps traffic smooth and prevents collisions with vehicles in other lanes. When multiple hazards appear on the road, how should you prioritize dangers? Give more space to the most dangerous situation. When facing multiple hazards, it's crucial to prioritize based on the potential danger each presents. Giving more space to the most dangerous situation allows you additional time to react and avoid a collision. This approach minimizes risk by addressing the most immediate threat first. Why not the others? Keep your speed to pass hazards quickly. Increasing speed reduces reaction time and control, making it harder to avoid accidents when facing multiple hazards. Left side hazards are always more important than right side ones. The position of a hazard does not inherently dictate its danger level. The potential impact of the hazard should determine the appropriate response, not just its location. During a tire blowout while driving, what should you do first? Grasp wheel firmly and ease off the accelerator. When a tire blows out, your initial reaction should be to maintain control of the vehicle. Firmly grasping the steering wheel ensures you can steer, and gently easing off the accelerator helps to reduce speed gradually. Why not the others? Brake hard to stop immediately. This can cause the vehicle to lose control, especially with a blown tire. Turn the wheel sharply away from the blowout. This could lead to overcorrecting and losing control of the vehicle. Which driving habit adjustment most reduces freeway congestion? Avoid weaving in and out of lanes. Weaving disrupts the flow of traffic. This forces other drivers to brake and slow down. Avoiding weaving helps maintain consistent speeds and reduces congestion. Why not the others? Constantly changing lanes to find the fastest route. Frequent lane changes disrupt the flow of traffic and can lead to more congestion, negating any potential time savings. Maintain a large following distance to avoid sudden stops. While a good safety practice, excessively large following distances can lead to other drivers filling the gap, which doesn't directly reduce overall congestion. This five-sided sign indicates school zone ahead. A five-sided pentagon sign means you are near a school zone or school crossing. It warns drivers to slow down and watch for children. What is the phone number to dial from your cell phone for assistance if your vehicle stops working on the freeway? 511. 511 is the number to dial from your cell phone for assistance if your vehicle stops working on the freeway. It provides access to traffic information and incident alerts, including assistance for stranded motorists. This service helps ensure safety and quick response during emergencies on the freeway. Why not the others? For 11, this is for information assistance or directory assistance, not roadside help. 611. This is typically used to contact your wireless provider's customer service, not for freeway assistance. Which of the following should you do if you are being followed by a tailgater? Change lanes and allow the tailgater to pass. If another driver is following too closely, the safest action is to move to another lane when safe and let them pass. Tapping the brakes or speeding up can create dangerous situations and increase the risk of a collision. Why should you avoid driving directly alongside other vehicles? To maintain enough space to maneuver. Driving alongside other vehicles limits your options if one of you needs to maneuver to avoid a hazard. Maintaining space allows you to react safely. Why not the others? To avoid wind resistance and drag. Wind resistance and drag are not significantly affected by driving alongside other vehicles. To incorrectly claim the right-of-way. Driving alongside another vehicle doesn't relate to claiming the right-of-way. Right-of-way is determined by traffic laws. If you are under 21 and caught with alcohol in your vehicle, which consequence is possible? Vehicle impoundment for up to 30 days. If you are under 21 and caught with alcohol in your vehicle, the vehicle may be impounded for up to 30 days. This is a serious consequence intended to deter underage drinking and driving. If you hit a parked car and cannot find the owner, what steps must you take? Leave a note with your details and report the collision to law enforcement. Leaving a note with your contact information and reporting the incident to law enforcement ensures you've taken the necessary steps to be responsible and accountable after the collision. This covers your legal obligations. Why not the others? Just leave a note with your contact information. While leaving a note is important, it's also crucial to report the incident to law enforcement. Report the collision to law enforcement only if there is significant damage. You should always report the collision, regardless of the extent of the damage. The below sign belongs to. This sign belongs to warning signs, which are usually yellow and diamond-shaped. They alert drivers about potential hazards or changes in the road ahead so they can drive with caution. After you sell a vehicle, you must notify the DMV within how many days? 5 days. You must notify the DMV within 5 days of selling or transferring your vehicle. This ensures accurate record keeping and releases you from liability for the vehicle. Why not the others? 10 days. This is longer than the required time frame for notifying the DMV. 30 days. This is far too long. The DMV requires notification much sooner. What is the driver's safety procedure after a mild cognitive impairment referral? Schedule a re-examination. After a referral for mild cognitive impairment, the appropriate driver safety procedure is to schedule a re-examination. This allows for a thorough assessment of the driver's capabilities and ensures that any necessary restrictions or actions are taken based on the results of the evaluation. Why not the others? Suspend the license immediately. Immediate suspension without evaluation is premature. A re-examination is necessary to determine the extent of the impairment. Ignore referrals for mild cognitive impairment. Ignoring referrals could lead to unsafe driving conditions. All referrals need to be taken seriously to ensure safety. Which rule applies to this sign? U-turns prohibited here. This sign means U-turns are not allowed at that location. It usually shows a curved arrow indicating a U-turn with a red circle and a slash across it. The red circle with a slash always indicates prohibition.